Good morning. It's 7:15 a.m., 36 degrees. The wind just went from absolute zero to zero movement to it's up to about a mile or two an hour. I could survive this weather forever. I'm easily down to 20 if the wind just doesn't move. We're right at sunrise. I think I got that level now. The sun hasn't peaked up over you can see the big truck moving on the I-30 tollway over there, elevated. There's a underpass where the parkway goes under, and to what should be your left is the expansion of the Baylor Scott and White Empire and their alliance with United Health Care Group. And as I recall my celestial mechanics, I think it's today will be the farthest. I hope I'm getting that in there good. Yeah, I'm getting it in there pretty good. Today will be the farthest to closest to due east that the sun will rise for the entire year. In other words, this morning the sun is coming up over right between me and the original colony, the Little 10 colony of Texas, which isn't too well defined. It wasn't that you'd have to understand all the families and how we like the little space between us. You know, good fences make for good neighbors. Yeah, is it about to peak up? I think it's not supposed to be sunrise till 7:20 or 7:25. So you're just catching that pre-dawn. It's technically you would see the top of it if you had clear shot of the horizon. If I were say 40 feet higher, 50 feet higher, you'd be able to see the top of the sun. Yeah, I feel lovely this morning. I slept for at least 5 hours straight. I was able to set up and it's warm and even right now, well, earlier it was pretty nippy. I was making sure because my hands, but see, this just proves my point. And even they irrigated last night, and the ground soaked up most of it. I just flipped some off the water, and actually, before I actually unzipped the bag put my feet out, but I went like, well, I don't want to get any moisture on this bag, and don't want to. So I pulled the trash bag over the bottom of my sleeping bag. So yeah, it's protected from the dirt and that clay and stuff. And I'm pretty good because everything went so smooth. Everything I had the cup turned upside down over to keep my little stove completely dry from any irrigation. They irrigate what is technically Friday night, Saturday morning, and then tonight again. And want to just say happy winter solstice and the approaching festival of Saturnalia. Christmas. Please, my mom converted to Christianity because she's the bookish type. She's not one of the door knocking evangelical types. It's amazing. My mom was a diagnosed glaucomic by the time she was like in her 50s, but had high intraocular pressure, high IOP, and yet she had almost no glaucomatous cupping of the optic disc. Really needed very little correction to her. I think she had a little touches, which is common, a little touch of astigmatism, but otherwise she had almost zero cupping of the optic disc. You could just tell by looking at her lenses. uh, yeah, I'm refreshed. I'm not all depressed and shit because 5 hours, pretty close to 6. Laying down, 6 hours flat out. Stayed up kind of late last night because actually uh, YouTube started feeding me stuff that I might actually like instead of just absolute junk, garbage crap. They kind of pegged me as a beatnik, junkie, intellectual. They even came up with one of Christopher Plummer's early roles in Seven Seals and stuff. He was an extremely handsome young man who could do that. I don't know which language it was in. I don't, uh, it's, but he plays like a crusader knight, but plague. It's a famous book by, who the fuck wrote that? Some philosopher fucking weirdo. They even included quotes from Albert Camus. Fuck Camus. Philosophy, the love of wisdom. Uh, yeah, my wisdom is in part based on the wisdom of other men, other philosophers. But you really, if you don't develop your own philosophy, it's absolutely, and you're kind of a lazy ass. If you just go around quoting and copying other men instead of really thinking about it, and speaking of thinking about it, I'm just fucking, ever since I woke up, I still remember going to the laundromat. Good morning, welcome to the morning cup. We're having a little coffee clutch here, Pour you a cup of coffee or tea, as I already have. The sun still ain't cresting on that thing. It's uh, that woman at the laundromat. I recognized her face immediately. I knew I'd seen her and talked to her. Actually, my whole memory says that she actually came up from East Austin up here to Pflugerville. I can't remember exactly because I usually the only store I go into regularly, but store can mean something else too, like the Burger King store or something, or the Whopper store. The Wendy's store or something like that. Because it's, sometimes I was forced to. Like I told you, I was living in a food desert down in Austin and was just constantly fighting. But anyway, but I just can't tag her face to a location. That's what she said that, she warmly greeted, shouted hi. Of course, I do like, just like, I'm not going to mention it yet. Still no sign of the sun yet, other than just orange. Fuck wind. I understand in God's creation, yeah, you need the wind to fucking blow the pollen and blow the seeds and shit like that. And it's move around the oxygen and it's being produced. And not much traffic at Starbucks this morning. I wonder when they opened up. I didn't get here till about 6:40, 50 or something like that. Took my time and it went so smooth and shit, and got that fucking cup of tea perfect, not too hot, not too uh, because I just didn't feel that urgency caused by the. Anyway, I have set my mind to figure out, like maybe during my sleeping hours, to place that woman's face and where the hell did I see her? And I've probably chatted with her, but because really in the last 3.5 years, I've gone into very few stores. She said, you stopped coming into the store. I don't, uh, maybe it was the Fiesta Mart that's off of, near the parking lot is on 38 and a half Street in Austin. Uh, that's the closest I can. One day an employee of the Fiesta Mart came up right by my little camp spot behind Philosopher's Rock in front of Noonday Fashions on 38 and a half Street and got out with a butcher knife and started just murdering one of their yucca plants for the leaves or barbacoa. And I fucking, she's wearing her flat, Fiesta Mart flat badge too. And so I just, ratted her out on it. She was really, yeah, I know that's actually stimulates the plant to produce the next, set of leaves and stuff. But still, it's not your fucking plant, lady. And it kind of suffered enough from kind of mediocre landscaping and shit like that. There you go. Here you go. Here, let's get that in there. Sunrise in Pflugerville. Good morning, Pflugerville. Flughafen. Ich bin eine Pflugervillen. JFK and his Ich bin eine Berliner. As they say in German, Ich liebe dich. It's not what you think it is. Liebe means love. Or Ich as I love. What does Ich liebe dich mean? It means I love you. Anyway, yeah, I'm not depressed. I'm probably during the night I synthesize some arachidonyl ethanolamide. My outflow from my eyes is good. Uh, I told you last night I was getting the halos from the. Yeah, I love that coming up. Doing it. And it's Saturday morning. It's relatively peaceful. It's normally there's humongous traffic rush right behind me and in front of me. Here goes one truck finally. uh, it could be so much worse. It really could be. But thank you, global warming. Oh, I'm sorry. We're supposed to call it climate change. Actually, this is closer, and they've already jacked it up from 61 to 63 today is what they're hoping to shoot and hit maybe by sunset. But right now it is 36 degrees, and it don't feel bad if you can see my breath. It winds up to about 2 miles an hour. That's why I just put my hand into the sleeping bag because it was starting to chill it. That's how you do flash freezing and with ice cream and shit like that, so that the polysorbate 80 can maintain those little micro bubble foaming of the ice cream that they do. Is before those little tiny bubbles can break down, that stuff's got to be flash frozen. That means massive quantities of like 40 below zero air has got to be blowing over that container as soon as it's filled. It has to be being chilled on the way to it, and it has to be frozen to zero very quickly. I think of that because the Bluebell truck just pulled out here. You can tell it's having some mechanical trouble. Yeah, I heard a little bit of something like in the drive shaft, somewhere in the drive train there or whatever. And I get to thinking about like 7-Eleven. They almost all their stuff comes from their local plants and shit like that, and comes in through McLean Trucking, McLean Industries, or their actual kind of subcontractor on that shit. With so many like the specialty items, brand names, a lot of the drinks and stuff, all them vehicles have to come here. And you people actually think that you can replace them with electric vehicles without just completely just destroying the entire surface of this planet, looking for lithium and shit like that. When there's, well, that's because you're going after the cheapest sources there. Uh, but isn't cobalt in there part of it too? And there, that's even harder. That's a little harder to get. It's good to see that big ball of fire. It's supposed to be sun all day long. Should should be a lovely day eventually. Well, I mean it is right now, but I mean, you know, uh, within a couple of hours, so it'll be warm enough to where I can. Because I'm not. That's in the morning when I get up this morning. My legs were still warm and stuff like that. And you may notice that I walk different ways at different times of the day. If you're a local, because I used to have in this area 3,000 of my 15 to 16, 17,000 unique viewers. I could tell we're in this area just based on gossip and everything else. What was my point is that you've seen me walk differently at different times because I'm arthritic, and when I've been horizontal, allow the muscles to relax and stretch out, and allow it, let the joints, get some like circulation around them joints and stuff. And like this morning, I was walking pretty good, but I knew not to keep them fucking toes headed straight forward. Every time you people walk with like splay footed and shit like that, drives me nuts. And shit, it reminds me of Yankees. It really does. They claim it. Mainers claim it's from walking in the snow. They'll walk splay footed. And actually, when I was a young man, it came from me wearing boots. The first time I was put on like a pair of like fairly high heeled boots, not cowboy boots. I'm not going to wear them because I had big feet. Well, the coaches noticed it was really the foot gear that was making me walk improperly because I come from a family that always exhibited correct posture and walked toes pointed straight forward. And the coach just pointed out and said, and I see a lot of Mainers walk with their feet out in almost a 45 to 50 degree, 60 degree angle, at least, where they're just literally every step, because they're not pivoting off of the ball of their foot and stuff. It can look like they're walking really fast, but they're really only making about 10 inches a step. My normal walking speed when I was young was around 7 miles an hour with really no effort. I used to love walking around the city of San Francisco and stuff. I love the incredible strength that it brought out in my legs, walking up and down those hills, and even in cold weather, all it took would be a light sweater or light jacket, and I could get good and hot and maybe even a little bit sweaty. I love walking and roaming around the 7 hills of San Francisco. Yeah, I don't know about how, because San Francisco actually used to be all sand dunes, so a lot of that is just man kind of made. There is the rocky part, but on the bay side, that's sedimentary, and that's really the area that's really subject to the most damage from earthquakes. I'm sorry, I'm just going to ramble. I'm having a cup of, let me have a sip of, that's cold by now, but I'm almost ready to just kill it. Yeah, it's still, it's 50 degrees warmer than the air around it. And shit, here we go again. I'm slipping off the edge of the pad. If I wish that wet washcloth wasn't way over there, I'd heat up some water, and this would be a great morning to scrub my face good. This is the time of year where I just start getting blackheads and stuff from lack of hot water and washcloth. My whole life I've had a fight. My skin is kind of naturally oily, or was. It's on my legs. It's getting to where they're dry. I don't really give a shit. I don't go around showing off my pretty legs, anymore. It's actually amazing how many women have told me that they bet it down with me because of my legs. I've had women when we're doing some really, getting into some kinks, they'd be reaching around, grabbing my leg and chewing on my calf. They just love my calf. That was really the secret to the big feet and what they call the Kruger calves, which I got the best set of them. Way better than Mr. Universe at that time. His name was Arnold. That's what gave me incredible speed and lateral agility. Was monster-sized, perfectly cabled man, but most defined calves I've ever seen. I ain't never seen anybody beat me during my peak when I was young. And when you got a big platform to rock you on, the feet, I had tremendous speed and lateral agility. People they always think big men are kind of slow, but even my reflexes and shit were. That's why I didn't get on. One time, my evil brother Ross said, your arms are not very big. And I was just about to snatch the hair off his head, you know what I'm saying? Being taller than him already by that age. Uh, to let him know that, if you take Dianabol all the time, Rolf, and try to build up your arms get slower. The more muscle mass you carry on your arms and shit, the slower your strength really doesn't have a lot to do with the size of the muscles on your arms as far as their ability to lift shit. It really doesn't. Body sculpting, they use low weights, small weights, at high repetitions. Power lifters rarely have them big, big giant guns and stuff like Dave Bautista, the actor and former wrestler, body sculptor. Oh, we get those big sternomastoid kind of bone, you get that lump of all that kind of shit, but uh, no, really, and actually, people that are men who are really strong, they have a kind of a bulging abdominal sheath. It sticks out, juts out an inch or more from your rib cage. You're just solid muscle. I've talked about this shit before about anatomical, the mechanics of it. I hate repeating shit. But I don't really have to do shit today. Shabbat shalom, everybody. This is a day of rest. All my shit's organized. They're all in black or, bags, either plastic or woven, And none of that bright colored shit y'all keep dropping on me. None of them bright blue Walmart bags. No, that's all dark blue. In the pre-dawn, you can just barely, coming from any direction, you can just barely tell that there's something around the base of this tree. And you have to be looking for it. That's the whole idea, is low profile. You people keep bringing me a woman the other day, nice lady, I know her. Because she says, I've been making blankets, and she brought a bright, hot rod red, Christmas red blanket for me. But behind that blanket, she was holding a $20 bill. Because I told her, no, I already got 2 blankets and 2 sleeping bags. And anybody who knows me knows that I may wear light colors. I may wear a bright colored shirt and stuff, particularly colors that I think will alter the way people perceive me, or at least help people to perceive me in the correct light. Blue, cerulean blue, means a man who is seeking peace at all times. That's what color psychology, that's what it, um, kind of meticulous or in my selections of shit. And I hate getting stuck with a piece of shit fucking jacket like this, underlay, this fucking Wrangler fucking. Yeah, Walmart's always carrying jackets that only, those in the custodial and landscaping professions would wear. You know, the people around here go somewhere else for their, I don't know, he just, I can't tell whether the guy was waving at me or he just had his hand out the window to feel the cold air or something. I don't know. I got a lot of friends at friendly parties here, but I keep reminding you people sometimes that you're waving inside of a car that's darkly tinted and I can't tell what the fuck you're doing. I can't even see it unless you get between me and the sun. I can't see a fucking thing inside your car because you got illegal tinting. Anyway, already talked for about 25 minutes. Sun's up pretty good now. Let's get that into the... Yep. That's pretty much due east. And we're in a special place on this planet. We're right near the 30th parallel. As I recall, almost all of human civilization, all the great buildings, all the pyramids, all this stuff, all these popped up around the 30th parallel. All these historic events, all these magical events and other holy events and stuff happened around the 30th parallel. You might want to look that up. Maybe I'll try to tag that, see what it comes up. Anyway, I think I've exhausted the morning cup. It's half hour. You should be finished with it now, and you need to go drop a deuce. I did mine last night, about a 2-footer. It was kind of squeezed towards the end because it just wasn't as compacted as I would like it to be and stuff. Because the more compact it is, the less wiping I got to do. I know how the turd cutter works. Although mine's damaged from the morphine. Whew, that was some serious constipation, motherfucker. Yeah, my eyes are not that light sensitive this morning. I felt a little shot of pain back on my retinas, though. I was having a little photophobia last night. It's not pleasant. Anyway, happy winter solstice and the upcoming Saturnalia festival, and Christmas and Hanukkah falls on Christmas this year, exactly on Christmas Day. We're usually fairly close, frequently preceding by a couple of weeks or more. It all depends. But see, we have a sane calendar. Y'all have a crazy fucking calendar. We go by lunar months because that's nature. This man-made artificial calendar is strictly political. It's fucking scientifically, I find the Christian calendar to be fucking retarded. It really is. It makes no sense at all for anybody except vested interests. Yeah, I want another cup of tea. I'm gonna get a little damage to the tip of my tongue. Anyway, it's gonna be a gorgeous day, and I plan on not doing a fucking thing other than eating, trying to watch a few videos. And now YouTube is kind of changed course. It was trying to send me every piece of shit and garbage. It's trying to get a sense of what my taste range is, but I have eclectic tastes. I have interest in many areas. I'm not kind of monothematic, I don't suffer from the monomania or objectophilia. It's all kind of, I don't have just one topic that I'm interested in. I'll see you guys later. And I hope you enjoyed last night's presentation of A Junkie Christmas up on Community Post. Why did I look up at the tree? To give you a little hint. It's, I like it, man. Yeah, I can actually tolerate it. I'm getting enough to have my hands out. It's going to warm up. Actually, I should be out of the bag within 90 minutes. I should have the bag off my legs, but I'm not going to let my legs chill. I'm not going to let them muscles tighten up and seize up and shit. Today is a day of rest. It was just yesterday I went shopping. I had to do a lot of moving around and shit, like trying to fucking put them like stack of pants and shit, all that stuff on the rack and all bending and twisting and lifting, getting back here and sorting. I'm actually in pain management. My brain is screening out yesterday's damage pretty good. I'll finish again. If your brain is working properly, I'm not just talking from a chemical standpoint, if your brain from a psychological aspect, purely all self, your soul, if it's working properly, it can screen out, subdue almost incredible amounts. I know because I played 6 football games with no ligaments in my right knee and won 5 of those games. Just flinging them fuckers around. And you can subduct it, bury in the back of your mind. It'll eventually manifest physically, but at least it keeps your day-to-day performance and your minute-to-minute performance, good. But a properly functioning soul, psyche, it can completely control and screen out from your perception enormous amounts of physical trauma, pain, and emotional, psychological trauma. It can just completely bury it. And that's really good for people who need to move on and not be crippled by some event, some, physical injury or psychological, emotional, relationship, injury. And we live in a country where people have been trained now for most of my lifetime to be weak. And that's all I see around me is weak people who whine at offenses, injuries to their psyche that are purely imaginary, that they've invented and created as a manipulative tool to manipulate other people. That liberal outrage and shit. They're so offended by just normal speech and actual correct, like gender identification. I'm sorry, sexual identification. I used their term, gender. Didn't exist when I was a kid. I remember anywhere in print or anywhere in conversations, we use the term sex. What sex is the person? So they've been training people for children, especially these single moms. It's one of the greatest threats to America is single moms that are not, there are no restrictions on their influencing children by any male to kind of give balance to her presentation. Now you get pissed off at me. I don't give a fuck. You can unsubscribe. You can stop watching. You can go the fuck away. See, a lot of you have this thoughts that's even that I'm trying to build some kind of big, successful YouTube channel here. That ain't the case. This is me keeping a log of my daily events, what I'm thinking, what I'm doing during this now, going into my fourth. Well, I'm halfway into my 4th year. So my 4th winter homeless. And I think compared to most fuckers, young, healthy, able-bodied fuckers that are addicted to alcohol and meth and crap like that, I think I'm doing rather well. Why? Because I don't wallow in self-pity, and I don't blame others. Sometimes I point out that, yeah, there's others to blame for me being here, but I've actually already forgiven them. I know my brother ain't there anymore. He's been possessed by some kind of horrific thing. He's really not. He's completely AWOL, man. His soul is gone. He always had that kind of bent, though. I'm sorry, I keep slipping down. So anyway, I hope you enjoy your Shabbos, your rest today. And remember, you got paid yesterday thanks to us Jews. We created payday, Friday payday. You still go by the Jewish week. You need to get back to the Jewish calendar. We need to go 13 lunar months to get some of this shit straightened out. Some of this corporate and legal shenanigans. And you know, the Holy Roman Catholic Church was a corporation, very wealthy and powerful one at that. And still, yet they only serve 7%, according to one source. 7% of the world's Catholics. One of them's my best friend. 36 minutes and 51, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 50, 37 minutes later. Second cup time.